So this is just a brief intro to my historical fiction reading vlog. There's another intro after this where I go into like my TBR and why I chose the books that I chose and why I didn't choose other books. So I'm just going to tell you that in this vlog I read two books. I read Hamnet by Maggie and The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I was going to read 3 books, but I only had 1 week to finish this vlog because of time constrictions, like other things that I had planned later. So unfortunately I didn't get to The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I'm really sorry about that. Throughout the vlog I keep being delusional and being like, no, I can do it, I can make it, like I can read 3 books in a week. But it didn't happen. So sorry if you were looking forward to this. And yeah, in this vlog, I do think I have some unpopular opinions, but nevertheless, I hope you enjoy it. So let's get into it. Hi, it is Friday and I need to start this historical fiction reading vlog. And a few days ago, I put up a poll on my community tab page. If you're not subscribed, you should, because I sometimes do like polls and stuff like that, and that way you can choose what I'm going to be reading. So yeah, about 2-3 days ago, posted the 2 polls and we had 2 kind of pairs of books. The first pair was The Great Circle by Maggie Sheepstead, I think, and The Little Strangers by Sarah Waters. And this was a really tough competition. Those 2 books were kind of split 50-50 for quite a long time, but in the end, The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters won. And I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of scared because at first, when I posted it, I kind of thought those 2 books were of a similar length because they look similar. I actually would say that The Great Circle looks a bit shorter, but then I was looking up the audiobook for those 2 books and I realized that the audiobook for The Little Stranger is 15 hours long, while the audiobook for Great Circle is 25 hours long. And that doesn't make sense, does it? I mean, I guess the pages are a bit thinner. The font looks similar. Turns out this book is 170 pages longer than this book, but like, how does that make sense? Like, how is it a difference of 10 hours of an audiobook? The math isn't mathing. Anyway, thank God this didn't win because it would take me much longer to finish this. And the other pair was Hamnet by Maggie and The Nickel Boys by Colson Whitehead, and there we had more of a clear winner because Hamnet won. And also, like, look at this. Those 2 books don't look that different in size. Like, Great Circle looks like a tiny bit longer, but Hamnet is actually 367 pages long, so it's not even 400 pages, while Great Circle is 670 pages long. It doesn't make sense. So I'm going to be reading those 2 books, and actually there's a 3rd book. I was going to like make you choose from 3 pairs, and the 3rd pair was going to be Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee versus The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams. I have Pachinko physically, and I have the other book on Audible, like bought with a credit and everything. But then I realized, like, if I put those 2 against each other, I'm 95% sure that Pachinko would win, and I just really wanted to read The Dictionary of Lost Words. So I just made an executive decision that I'm going to read The Dictionary of Lost Words. But yeah, I'm going to tell you more about like the plots of those books later, because yeah, it's Friday and I'm going away for the weekend. I'm going to be visiting my dad in the like north of Poland. There is a lake there, so if the weather is okay, I might read a bit near the lake. And yeah, I think I'm going to start with Hamnet. Okay, so the deal with Hamnet. Some more backstory. This is so long, I'm sorry, but like, actually the reason I put those 2 books together is because when it comes to both of them, I'm not really sure if I'm going to like them. This one I read for a try a chapter tag and I just didn't like the writing style. I found it really hard to get into and I couldn't focus on the words. It was really hard to read this for some reason. And this one, I've heard some great things, but when it comes to the time period, so like, I'm sure you know, but Hamnet is about, I think it focuses mostly on Shakespeare's wife Agnes and their children. I think Shakespeare had a son called Hamnet who died because of some plague or something. And since it's set in like Shakespeare's time, here it says it's set in 1596. So that's 16th century. It's just not a time period that I'm really interested in, so I'm just not sure how I'm going to like it. So I'm going to start with it, but keep my expectations at bay, and if I hate it, please don't write a mean comment. It might be not my cup of tea, but I'm very excited about the 2 other books. So I need to pack quickly, and let's go. Oh my god. There's a swan here, and she's just hanging around next to me. She's still there. Hold on. Hello. Hi. So yeah, that's my company for today. Okay, not sure if you can hear me because there's like a boat going around, like with an engine, so it's like loud. Oh my god, this one is still here. She's looking at me. She's so cute. Maybe it's a he, I don't know. But wanted to give you a quick update. This is not where I am actually. This is where I want to get today. Okay, I'm here. I'm like 60 pages into Hamnet, and just wanted to give you my initial thoughts. It feels like this one is listening to me. Okay, I'm not loving it, unsurprisingly. It's mostly the time period, yeah, like 16th century, the end of 16th century. I don't have like any particular interest in the era, and the writing style, it feels a bit overwritten. Also, like, it has some elements of magical realism, because Agnes, I think you're not supposed to pronounce the G. I don't know. I'm just going to say Agnes because that's how it's written, but it's supposedly pronounced differently. Yeah, she has some like weird powers, and I'm just like, why? You know, you're talking about a real person in history. Even though we know like next to nothing about Shakespeare's wife, but like, why would you? Why couldn't she be interesting just as a person? Why do we have to add this like magical powers? They're not like explained. She just, you know, sees things and knows things. It's just like, okay. Yeah, it's just not my thing. If I wasn't filming this vlog, I would probably just DNF it. But I think I'm going to power through it. Hello, I am at the lake again. I hope you can hear me. It's quite windy today. The weather is not that great, but I thought since I'm going to be here only for 2 days, I'm going to spend both of my days near the lake. Okay, so it is Sunday and I am like 2/3 into Hamnet. And yeah, not much has changed. I'm mostly updating you because I'm at the point where, not sure if you'll be able to see it, but there's like a second part. So basically, like from the get-go that Hamnet is going to die. Like from the first chapter, it's kind of like implied that he's not going to make it. Implied? I don't think it's implied. It's like pretty much said that he's going to die. So many boats. Sorry. So 2/3 into the book, Hamnet dies. And the part 2 is about, I haven't read it, but I've heard it's like the aftermath of that, I think it mostly focuses on Agnes and her dealing with her grief. And I've heard that the second part is like the best part of the book, that the way this book describes grief is absolutely beautiful. And I'm not gonna lie, I would really appreciate it if this book got better at some point, because at this point we were sitting at 2 stars. Can I tell you anything else? Something I haven't discussed yet. Oh, actually I have an example. So I think yesterday I told you that I find this book to be overwritten, and here's an example. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm going to read out loud just one paragraph from a chapter. He feels again the sensation he had all his life, that she is the other side of him, that they fit together, him and her, like 2 halves of a walnut, that without her he is incomplete, lost. He will carry an open wound down his side for the rest of his life, where she had been ripped from him. How can he live without her? He cannot. Listen to this. It is like asking the heart to live without the lungs, like tearing the moon out of the sky and asking the stars to do its work, like expecting the barley to grow without rain. Tears are appearing on his cheeks now, like silver seeds, as if by magic. Can we just stop for a second and count how many similes are in those few sentences? Don't get me wrong, I can get on board with a simile and a metaphor here and there. This is too much. In 5 or 6 sentences, this much text, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 similes. This is giving fan fiction or creative writing workshop where a person is trying so hard to impress everyone with their writing style. This is not good writing. This is trying too hard. This is too much. Yeah, another thing, we're kind of skipping back and forth between timelines, and this kind of non-linear motherfucker. No one's impressed. Because from the very get-go we know that Hamnet is going to die, and as I told you, he dies 2/3 into the book, and we kind of skip back and forth between timelines, and I think because of this non-linear timeline, the story really drags on. So I feel like having 2 timelines that we switch between really does this book no service, in my opinion. Oh my god! It's so windy. Okay, so those are my thoughts for now. The second part doesn't have any chapters, so it's one continuous thing for I don't know, 100 pages. But I think I'll be able to finish this today, and I'll update you when I do. Hi, it is Monday, and yesterday on my way back to Warsaw I finished Hamnet. Let's put it here. And okay, Part 2 was better. I would say two things contributed to me enjoying the second part better. First things first, we don't have the non-linear storytelling in part 2. Everything just after Hamnet's death, everything just happens kind of chronologically, and I enjoy that. And two, without like spoiling anything, there's a lot less of like magical realism in part 2. There are like little like remains of magical realism, like as an aftermath of what happened in part 1, but I feel like the magical realism doesn't really influence the story anymore. And because of those two things, I quite enjoyed part 2. I even found the writing style to be of a better quality. It wasn't so clumsy with, you know, the similes and metaphors, but still overall only the like last third of the book was pretty good in my opinion. Also, I didn't love the like last sentence, or like overall the ending. I felt it was a bit cliche, and I don't know if I love what the author was trying to say about the play Hamlet, and if it makes sense. Yeah, I don't really want to spoil anything, but there was some improvement, so I'm going to give this book 3 stars instead of 2. But yeah, not a favorite. Okay, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, and that is that I really need to finish this vlog by Thursday, because on Friday Summer Wind starts and I really want to take part in it, not only by reading like horror-y, thriller-y books, but also I want to film a vlog for it. So I kind of need to finish the next 2 books in the next 3-4 days and edit all of the footage. Is that doable? I don't think so. But I'm gonna do my best. I'm just in my delusion era. So today I need to start The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters, and I still have the Dictionary of Lost Words left. I'm not a fast reader and I don't edit my videos fast. I am setting myself for failure, but it's fine, it's fine. No, I can do it, I can do it. So I do work a 9-to-5 job too, and today I already like promised my friend that I would go for like a yoga class with her, and tomorrow I'm working from the office, and after work I have a therapy appointment. Yeah, I know, I feel like I need to spend every waking hour reading for this to work. Well, I know, let's do it. Hello, I'm back from work and I'm like wiped out. Like 8 hours in the office, and then I had a therapy session. It's a lot. But I had to like reapply my makeup because I was eating like, what would you call it? Like a bun with berries. It's like a thing in Poland because berries are in season right now. And before I pressed record, I was like, you know what? I'm going to check if I don't have like berries all over my face, and I did. So I ended up reapplying a bit of my makeup. I was looking a bit more rough like 5 minutes ago. This is just a quick update because I started The Little Stranger last night. I'm like 40 pages in, and okay, listen, this book doesn't have that high of a rating on Goodreads. I think it's like in the like 3.5 area. And a little background information, like I have read 2 other books by Sarah Waters, Tipping the Velvet and Fingersmith, and both of them I gave 5 stars. And I just need you to know that that is not a very frequent occurrence. Like, I'm not sure if this ever happened, like even with my favorite authors like Jane Austen, B.M. Forster, Emily St. John Mandel. None of those authors have have written a book, how should I explain it? Like, I only have 1 5-star per author. You know what I mean? Like, all of those authors that I mentioned are, you know, my favorite authors, and none of them have more than 1 5-star read, and I've read all of their books. So yeah, me giving an author a 5-star twice, that is a miracle. And I started this one. This one has a very low rating, but I have to say, the second I started reading this book, I was like, oh, yeah, this is Sarah Waters. This is what great literature is like. So, needless to say, I'm enjoying it. Like, it's kind of a given because I really enjoy Sarah Waters' writing style. I have berry stains on my finger. I'm kind of all over the place in this update. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I was going somewhere with this. But yeah, basically, Sarah Waters writes historical fiction. I feel like, did I tell you that already? I'm sorry. So yeah, she writes very well-researched historical fiction with like fascinating plots and very well fleshed out characters. So far, the 2 books that I have read from her both had like some lesbian relationships, which love that. I don't think this one does, but I'm still very excited. And even if it's not like a 5-star or anything, I don't think I'm going to hate it because I just enjoy the writing style so much. So like no matter where the plot goes, I don't see myself hating this book. What this book is about, I actually don't really know. There's this doctor that visits this like mansion, and this is after the Second World War, right? I think this is the Second World War, not the first one. It's after one of those wars. And, you know, the Hundreds Hall, that's what it's called. He remembers this, like, mansion from his childhood, and he visits it on, like, a doctor's visit many years later and sees how, like, ruined this mansion is and how the world has changed since he last was in this place. And I'm not sure what this book is going to be about, really, but I do know this mansion is maybe haunted, maybe there's a ghost. It's kind of a gothic story. So yeah, I'm not sure where we're going. I'm not sure, is the doctor going to stay in this mansion? Is he going to move in there? Maybe? But yeah, I'm not sure how I feel about the ghost of it all. Is it going to be like one of those things where it's like, is it a ghost or is it something else? I don't know, but I'm excited. It is Tuesday and this book is 500 pages long and I made a tiny little dent here. So maybe this vlog will be just about 2 books. Also, little book haul. I bought Picnic at Hanging Rock by John Lindsay. I mentioned that I wanted to read this book for Summerween because it is a classic, but I think it has some horror in it. And the second book... Okay, the story with the second book is that I actually started listening to the Dictionary of Lost Words like a few days ago, but I only listened to like first few minutes and I realized that the audiobook is kind of hard to listen to. Like I found it really hard to focus. So I bought the Dictionary of Lost Words. I'm still going to be listening to the audiobook, I think, but I'm going to do it while I read the physical book at the same time. So that's it. I'm going to take a shower and get ready for bed. My god, it's already 8 p.m. Yeah, life is hard when you have a 9-to-5 job. The day just passes you by. Okay, that's everything. Probably see you tomorrow. Well, good evening. I hope you can hear me and see me fine. It is like 3 a.m. on, well, I guess not even Wednesday, it's Thursday. And I am 200 pages into The Little Stranger. So needless to say, I will not be reading 3 books in this vlog because I'm supposed to technically finish this vlog today. I think I can still do it. So here's the thing. For some reason I thought the doctor would move in to this like mansion, this Hundreds Hall, but no, he just becomes a family friend and visits them every now and then. And I think this is going to take place over like a few years. And it is quite slow-paced, which personally I'm enjoying. It's so far a bit more of a character study, but we just got to that point where like spooky things start to happen. I'm still really enjoying it. I've heard that some people said that the ending to this book is quite unsatisfying, but I'm not sure what that means. Do we never find out if the ghost was real? If that's the case, yeah, I guess I would be pretty like frustrated. But like, if I'm gonna be honest, I've heard some people really hate when a book is like marketed as a ghost story, but there's still this question throughout the book, like is it really a ghost? And people tend to be very angry if in the end there is like a rational explanation for what was happening, because I feel like more people would prefer to read a ghost story. I don't know, I feel like I've heard some people say stuff like that, and I personally, I feel like I would prefer it if in the end it turns out there's no ghost and, you know, there's an explanation for everything. But also I feel like we might not get an explanation, I don't know. Either way, good God, Sarah Waters can write. So, just gonna say that. Why am I awake at 3 a.m. on a work day? Yeah, my sleeping schedule is messed up. But yeah, I will give you the final update tomorrow. Hopefully I will manage to finish this book tomorrow. Okay, good night. Again, I'm updating you very late into the night and unfortunately, even though it is Thursday, well, it's Friday, I did not manage to finish The Little Stranger. I'm like 3/4 into it. I have like maybe a bit over 100 pages left. So I will have to finish it tomorrow, even though tomorrow Weekend Wind starts, but it's fine. Honestly, this is horror, this is a gothic story, so kind of fits the theme, I guess. But no, I will finish it in this vlog, don't worry. So, how am I feeling about it? I'm still enjoying it, but it's kind of losing me at this point because we're kind of repeating the same pattern over again. I don't want to spoil you, but you know, it's a haunted house kind of ghost story, so you know, like weird things start happening in the house, and at this point I feel like we're repeating the same things all over again, and I'm starting to feel this book's length, and I do feel like it could have been a bit tighter if it was edited a bit more, but I'm still enjoying it. I think it's a very kind of atmospheric, character-driven novel, and I think it would be better for me to read it in autumn, you know, on a gloomy, rainy day. But yeah, like at this point, we're still standing on a like strong 4-star, but I'm a bit worried about the ending. I think the worst ending for me right now would be not necessarily if we go with like, oh, it was a ghost, like it was something paranormal. The worst ending for me would be if it wasn't explained at all. Because I feel like there are 3 paths, like there's a ghost, there isn't a ghost, it can be explained rationally, and the 3rd path is, ooh, we just don't know. And I feel like the 3rd path is the one that I would hate the most, so I really hope this is not where we're going. But yeah, I will update you tomorrow. Good God, my sleeping schedule is messed up. And yeah, peace. Okay, hello. I finished The The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters yesterday actually, but I needed some time to think, I needed to sleep on it, so I have some more clear thoughts right now, but I'm still a bit conflicted about some things. So let's talk about the ending. Basically, the last third, the last fourth, the last like 100 pages, okay? I feel like that's where we start getting little hints about what's happening, but yes, they are not very straightforward. So until the very last sentence, I wasn't sure. Like I kind of had an inkling that maybe this is what's happening, but definitely wasn't sure. And then I read the last sentence and I was like, okay, so that pretty much confirms it. Like the last sentence still wasn't very straightforward, but it was like, I feel like it was, the last sentence at least heavily hinted at what was happening. So yes, it is ambiguous in the sense of you don't get the answer of like, this is what happened, but I feel like there is an answer, you know what I mean? It's not so ambiguous where by the end you don't get any answers or you don't have any clue what could be happening. And here's the thing, I like the ending, but I kind of like the ending as a twist. I wasn't necessarily expecting it, but I liked it more on an individual level. I'm trying really hard not to spoil anything, but I'm just not so sure if I like it as like a commentary on the British society in the 20th century, you know what I mean? Like more on a systematic level. I don't love if I like this as a commentary. So I'm going to get into spoilers, so skip to this time if you don't want to be spoiled. In my interpretation, the main character, Dr. Faraday, our narrator, is behind those, you know, huntings because he's the ghost, the little stranger. I feel like it's still vague enough where I'm not sure if he was behind the hauntings like physically or it was still paranormal. There's like this, what is it called? Poltergeist? Like some kind of energy? I don't know, I don't really get it, but like I'm still not sure which of those two things it was, but I feel like at least it is heavily hinted at the very end that it was our main character, and I liked it because then you suddenly realize that you were reading from an unreliable narrator, and that's fun. That's a fun twist. Kind of makes me like want to reread it and see all of the clues. But Dr. Faraday was from a working class family, and overall like this book was a commentary on like rich like British families kind of falling apart and losing their money in the like beginning of the 20th century, the first half of the 20th century. Here we are focusing on the time after the Second World War. World War. Did I say it like that? I'm not sure. And yes, Dr. Faraday comes from a working class family. His mother actually worked at the Hundreds Hall and she was a maid. So he has this connection to the house, and basically he was behind all of those tragedies. And I'm still not sure if, here's the thing, I'm still not sure if it was done consciously, because if it was the poltergeist, it could be, there is an argument he didn't know that he was behind all of that. If I were to tell you my kind of prediction or what I feel like makes the most sense, I think that it was like the poltergeist and Dr. Faraday was not aware that he was doing it. Yeah, I feel like that makes the most sense, but I also feel like I would have to reread it to really be able to say that confidently. And that's fun. I like reading all of those like different theories about what people think happened. Exactly. I was going somewhere with it. But yeah, like as a commentary, it feels like Dr. Faraday did all of it because of like jealousy and greed, and in the end we're kind of, we pity the people from Hundreds Hall, the family. You know, the son went mad, he's in the psychiatric hospital, the mother committed suicide, and then Caroline was killed. So like I said, I like it as on an individual level. I like this reveal that we read from the person that was doing all of this. But if he was doing it out of like jealousy and greed, I'm not sure if I love the implications of that. You know, like poor rich families of the British society losing all their money and not being able to afford like maids. Now they can only have one maid. What a tragedy, right? Like, yes, I felt empathetic towards the family, but when you like take a step back and look at it from a perspective, it kind of feels like she's saying that like, look at those working class people taking away everything from the great English families, taking away their money, taking away their property, all because of greed. And I don't know. Like, I don't think that's what Sarah Waters is saying, but like, if that's the ending, I feel like that's kind of the implication. So yeah, that's all when it comes to spoilers. I'm a bit torn what rating to give it, because if I'm right about the implications, then I would be more inclined to give it a lower rating, like a 4-star, 3.5 star, I don't know. Like, if it was really what she was going for. I also thought about like comparison to like Knives Out, because you know, Knives Out, obviously it has a very different tone to it, but it is about, you know, rich people. And like, without spoiling anything, we have this like good for her kind of ending. Here, if we're focusing on the jealousy and the greed, you know, I don't know if I love it. I'm just not sure if Sarah Waters is saying that. I feel like I'm taking it a step too far, maybe. So honestly, I'm going to give Sarah Waters the benefit of the doubt and pretend that this isn't what she's saying, because it feels a bit out of character for Sarah Waters, even though I don't know her, but I feel like I'm taking it a step too far with my interpretation, especially if we like consider the first half of the book, where I feel like we were leading towards a very different commentary and she just wanted, you know, a fun twist. I feel like this is what she was going for. So I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I did enjoy it. I do feel like the middle could have been edited. We could lose like 100 pages maybe, and it would have been a bit tighter of a novel. But overall, really loved the beginning, really loved the end, liked the twist, liked the ending. I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. Another thing what this book reminded me of. 3 things. First of all, I Captured the Castle by Dodie Smith, because it also focuses on like a family living in this castle, but they're very poor, so you know, they live in this like beautiful mansion, but they barely have the money to eat. So that's what it reminded me of. Also, obviously, The Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson, for the obvious reasons. And the third thing, it's not necessarily a book, but an author. It reminded me of Agatha Christie a little bit, because of the mystery, the setting, and the characters a little bit too. That's all. Time to wrap up this vlog. I'm very sorry that I didn't get to the third book, The Dictionary of Lost Words, but honestly, I'm feeling a bit fatigued with the historical fiction anyway, so I think it's a good point to stop. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Like the video, leave a comment, tell me your thoughts, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!